Home. How do I say this? My ongoing thought was that by staying home, I was missing out on something somewhere else. Some city somewhere, some party, some people, some job, life. My dad is a boss. He basically has his own empire, and the guy hustles, man. And I think he always had the idea that my brother and I would eventually take over his business from him. And yeah, I think that always sounded a little lifeless to me. One day he sat down, my brother and I, and told us, "Boys, one day when all this comes to an end, I'm going to divide everything I have between the two of you." Well, I thought, why would I wait? I want out of here now. I've probably never been more nervous in my life. I think I rehearsed what I would say a 1,000 times. "Dad, if what's yours is gonna be mine, could I have it now?" I knew what I asked was a stretch. Yeah, Dad knew me. If that money was mine, then he knew I probably wasn't gonna stay around too much longer. He raised his eyes, locked mine. I heard him clear his throat, and he gave a grin. "Son, okay. Give me a couple days to divide it." A couple days went by, and I was gone. Yeah, he let me go. So I headed off and let the celebrations begin. I had no agenda, no goal, and I wanted to see it all. Everything there was to see and do. And I wanted to find everything I've heard of outside of my father's house. No cost was too big at this point. all made friends, I suppose, and yeah, we were probably a little bit more reckless than we should have been. As it turns out, money doesn't last, and truth be told, it started to not mean a whole lot. I blew it all, and who I thought were friends didn't stick around. I didn't have a job, the economy sunk, and there was no way to make the money I spent back. I was pretty desperate, hungry, and overpartied. So at this point, I'm sitting there in the filth and shame of basically every decision I made and everything I've done, and I had nothing left, and I was yet to find what I was looking for. Turns out home didn't end up meaning what I thought. It had nothing to do about where I was. And I think for the first time it started to hit me how much better things were at my dad's house. And I knew in that moment I had to go home.
And that thought changed everything. I had to go home. See, I figured out that everything that I wanted in life ended up having no value. In fact, it left me empty-handed. And see, when I hit rock bottom, I figured out that the world lacks the ability to give me what I need. And I never knew that before because my father spent his entire life providing what the world could not offer. Yeah, I remember that feeling. I wanted to go home. But it's like I kept hearing these voices in my head. I'm a mess. I'm a failure. I'm meaningless. I'm disgusting. I'm ugly. I'm unlovable. I'm undeserving. I'm a fool. I'm a letdown, and I'll never be enough. But none of those voices compared to the beauty of the noise of the footsteps that I heard as I made my way towards my father's house. And for a second, it was like the entire earth around me began to shake. And I could see in the distance the figure of what looked like a madman. He was running and he was screaming and he was calling my name. And his voice was like music to my dead bones. But I was so heavy with the guilt of the person I've become and the decisions that I've made. And I remember I started to tear up and my throat started to swell, and I said, "Dad, I am so sorry. I've made a mess of everything, and I didn't know what I was supposed to say." So I just kept rambling. I said, "Dad, I do not deserve to be your son. I am so unworthy. Let me work for you, and I'll make back every single dollar that I blew." But he just kept running. I don't even think he heard me. I don't think he cared what I had to say. He said, "Son, you're home. I've been waiting for you. I've been thinking about you every day. I missed you so much, and I always hoped that you'd return. I love you, son, and this is where you belong." And I tell you, I thought I knew what a party was. And I thought I knew what it meant to celebrate. But my dad got to me, and he was hugging me, and he was kissing me, and he had the biggest smile on his face. And suddenly, he turned to his neighbors, and he turned to his workers, and he turned to his friends, and he called my brother, and he said, "Prepare a feast. Get the drinks, start the music, tell everybody that we know we are gonna have a party. My son is home. He was lost, but now he's found, and let the celebrations begin."
I'm a Newfoundlander, born and bred, I'll be one till I die. I'm proud to be an islander, and here's the reason why. I'm free as the wind, and the waves that wash the sand. There's no place I would rather get your duds in order, cause we're bound to cross the water. Heave away, me jollies, heave away. Come get your duds in order, cause we're bound to leave tomorrow. Heave away, me jolly boys, we're all about the way. Sometimes we're bound for Liverpool, more times we're bound for Spain. Heave away, me jollies, heave away. And now we're bound for Roll St. John's, where all the girls are dancing. Heave away, me jolly boys, we're all about the way. Hey!